slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Hey there everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a cute little spring pink themed nails since Easter is on Sunday if you celebrate Easter. Happy Easter if you do. And I showed you the products that I'm using. I'm going to do some different nails now. Just to let you know, at the end of this I ended up changing it up because I didn't really like the middle nail that I did. So I think these designs would be really, really cute for if you wanted to do every single nail the same. If you wanted to do multiple nail designs like I did. And it's really, really easy. You guys can do this stuff at home, I'm telling you. I already buffed and base coated these. So, and then now I'm just using my pink, this really pretty pink French color that I just love. I picked it up a couple weeks ago. And I'm going to be doing 3 nails on each hand that are going to be kind of a French inspired. So, which means having that more natural look down by the cuticle area and then more color at the end. I used the Candy Lover polish. It's, I like it. It lasts really long on the nails when you're doing like a solid color. But trying to do nail art, even thinning it out, it kind of gets, it's real easy to make it. Like 1 drop of acetone makes it way too thin, and I was having kind of an issue today trying to get the Frenches done. I'm also going to be showing you an example of how I do my Frenches. It's real easy. It's the line method, and I'm going to be using my line brush to line it out, and then, easy peasy, taking another curved brush to then go in and clean up that French line so that it's absolutely perfect with a little bit of acetone dipped on the end of it. Now again, what I do is I do clear coats in between. So after I get my French, my pink on, my French pink, I clear coated them. So that way I can use my acetone brush and clean it up and make it absolutely perfect. There's the brush. I love it. This is just a brush that I got at a craft store in a bag full of natural hair bristle art brushes. And I think it cost me $10. But this is one of my favorite brushes for cleaning up my edges and my lines. Because if you can see, it's already kind of got that little curve in it. So it really, really helps guide you. And I'm going to do the same as usual. I'm going to coat each nail twice with the base coat, twice with the base color. And cure it each time for 60 seconds. And then I'm going to top coat them all before I do any nail work, any nail art, anything like that. Because that top coat, once I put that on, that's my safety net. So if I mess up, and you'll see in this video, I had to remove these lines a couple times. And you see I go down from the very bottom corner, and I just take it up into almost like a triangle. And then I go about where your natural nail would hit on the underneath of this nail, and I just curve it around. And then as you see, I take my regular nail polish brush and then go and fill in all those, the tip and the edges and the sides. And of course I messed it up a little bit because that's just what happens. So I just barely dip in the acetone, and then I tap it down on my paper towel because I don't want it dripping, because that's going to ruin all of my hard work that I just did having a nice crisp line. So, and I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm going to, now this one I ended up doing kind of a faux French where I took it from the one side up and around, and then I have a natural edge on the whole other side of the nail. So, that's what's fun about this, is you can do this with your interpretation. And then the other nail, I just did again the simple French. I did the X method, but see, I don't like it. So I took my lint-free wipe with a little bit of acetone on it, or alcohol, either or, wiped it right off, and boom. See, now here we go. I do the 2 lines, and then I curve it around. And this one, I did need a lot of extra help on this one, because when I got it done, the natural area was just way too skinny. It didn't look right. So I got through and I painted. Now, this I actually wish I had done only one coat of this pink because it is so thick. Now, I cured it extra time because it was thicker, but it's still, I don't know, I just wasn't real happy with the results. But in between, once I get these all base coated, top coated, cleaned up, while I'm off camera, I will go in and really crisp up those edges, because that's what I didn't like. It seemed like it was a little bit chunky. Now, that's why I don't cap my edges when I use gel polish, because I don't like that rounded look on the end of the nails. I love a nice crisp end. And that's all preference, you know. I mean, if you want them capped and you like that little bit of softness at the end, that, hey, more power to you. I will not judge. But, and see, now I went through my nail charms. I just found some really cute spring stuff. I found some dragonflies, some butterflies, some roses, just some little cutie stuff. And I'm just going to kind of go along and put them on. And sorry again, I'm still working on trying to get my camera angles right so that I can see. Now, when I'm filming this on my phone, I can see in the camera or on the screen where my hand is. But then sometimes when it gets to print like this, it's of course afterwards that I notice that I've cut off what I'm doing, and you only are seeing the after effect. So I promise I am working on that. But yeah, so I'm just going to go through and I'm going to decorate all of these and make them just a nice pretty little spring set. And you'll see, now this is the middle finger that I got a grand idea. I put a butterfly on there and then some jewels, and later on you'll see I put a bee on there, but it just didn't work out. So we flip-flop the nails, and I'm just going to, for the other side, I'm just going to do a plain pink nail in the middle, and voila, we're done. Oh, and one more thing I did do off camera was I went and did one more coat of clear coat around, and you'll see as I do the thumb, I just add a bunch of gems right around the smile line, and it helps. I think, even though I love this gemstone glue, you could glue a car part on with this stuff, I swear to you. But I still like to give the gems just a little bit extra security. So I go through and top coat around them and around the other nail charms and things like that I put on. I did it on the nail that I did the roses on, which is this one right here. And I did it with the bow too. And it just seems to kind of help go in there and seal everything up and make it nice and shiny, and takes out any little blemishes that are in there, and just really makes it a nice finished product. Now to introduce the Crimecast part of today. I told you I was going to go over an article that a case that was, again, a local-ish case. You know, it's not next door or anything, but in the same vicinity, basic area in Michigan. And it's actually the detective that ended up solving that Jeffrey Gorton case that I talked about in our first episode with the provost and the flight attendant and the provost. They actually compared this unaliving to his MO because they thought that it was really, really similar. And the same detective that caught him caught this guy too, and it was 20 years later. So again, another case that ends up, getting solved, and finally, I mean, it's, your loved one is still gone, but at least there's a little tiny bit of hope for some kind of redemption or closure, knowing that the person that hurt your loved one and took them away from you is never going to see the light of day again. Now, this guy ended up taking a plea, which kind of stinks, but he still is behind bars, and hopefully he's there for a very, very, very long time. But it was really sad, and I remember this because it happened when I was in high school. And it was one of those things where this happened, and again, all our parents were warning us about, being careful, and about, we were all getting jobs, and we were out in the evenings and things like that, and driving our cars, and, this, in this story that I'm going to tell, this girl just disappeared one night, and nobody knew what happened. And here's our final product. Okay. Our victim today's name is Wanda Musk. Now, Wanda was born in May 1974 in Muskegon County, Michigan. She was adopted when she was a baby and raised in Muskegon until she was 14. Then, Wanda was taken in by the Mast family because her father had passed away, and they lived in Flint, in a suburb called Burton. After graduating high school, she enrolled in Mott Community College in the same city. At that time, the 19-year-old was working at a local convenience store to save money for her own place. Now, around 6:30-ish, a witness saw a man was kind of back by the coffee machine in this gas station. He got himself a cup of coffee, and then he set it down and walked out. Paid for it, then set it down and walked out. And the lady behind him, the lady that saw him, she paid for her stuff. And when she left, she saw him. He was kind of standing out in the parking lot. And he turned around and went back in. And she was assuming to get his coffee that he had forgotten. So at around 6:45, this is on November 14th, witnesses also reported seeing Wanda with a man who had his arm around her outside the store where she worked. About an hour later, Wanda was found unclothed, laying on the side of the road by a newspaper delivery guy, about 7 miles from the convenience store. She had been fatally beaten, and the detectives were hard at task trying to solve the case, but their initial investigation went nowhere. They checked into everybody they could possibly think of that had been on camera that night, that had been there they had seen, that had been witnessed going in or out. Checked, credit card receipts. They even checked a former boyfriend of Wanda's who, apparently she had dated in the last year, but he started becoming kind of violent and abusive, and so she had gotten away from him, and he did not like that, and so he had been seen multiple times. And I believe he had been seen that night, even, up at the gas station. He would come in there and hang out all night. Now, let me also say, she worked third shift because she was a college student. And she enjoyed being able to sit there and do her homework because it really wasn't that busy third shift. But instead, this guy would come up there and hang out, and because he just could not let go. But when he was investigated, they ended up finding out there was some DNA that was left on her leg. And so they tested it against this boyfriend, and nothing. There's absolutely nothing. No match. So he was, dead end. There we go. There's no more suspects after that. Now, later on, the investigators kept following leads that they eventually thought that they had a break in the case. A man was arrested and confessed to the murder, but that ended up turning out to be a false confession. And sadly, time progressed. Multiple leads led nowhere, leaving the case unsolved. But one police officer, Jerry Parks, never stopped working on the case. Over the years, he helped eliminate more than 600 people through DNA analysis. Now, 20 years later, after a new law requiring prison inmates to provide DNA was passed in Michigan, DNA from the case was connected to a convicted felon who had already been serving life in prison for a 1994 murder. His name was Matthew Alder. He was a former Marine. In 1994, he met a woman named Lisa Gibson at a nightclub and took her home. He and another accomplice arred her before Matthew took her to a desolate place and set her on fire. he was arrested and convicted for that crime. When DNA from Wanda's case matched Matthew, the prosecutors charged him with first-degree redrum. While in court for Wanda's redrum, Matthew admitted to kidnapping Wanda from the store and said that he had then beat her with a steel baton. While the prosecution accused him of R-ing her as well, he denied it, saying it just did not happen. So, I guess explain how his DNA got there. So anyway, at the time, he was already serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole for ending Lisa's life. And in August 2013, the 43-year-old pled guilty to second-degree murder in relation to Wanda's case and was later sentenced to 20 to 30 years in prison. He said during his sentencing, "No matter how I acted, my disposition would have been scrutinized. I'm not quite as remorseless as everyone would like to think." Now, Parks worked on this tirelessly, and like I said, he eliminated more than 600 people in her case through DNA evidence over the years. And among those that they ruled out because they wondered was that serial killer Jeffrey Gorton of Vienna Township. He was the man that killed the music professor and the flight attendant, and also another case we're going to discuss later on. It's called the notorious Clio bike path rapist, Jack Hall. So, thank goodness for this detective Parks that said retired. He was making $1 a month to do this because they had to give him $1 for tax purposes or whatever. But his statement was, "My daughter worked at that gas station. It could have been my daughter," he said. "God gave me this talent. Just sitting home in a rocking chair isn't me, and it isn't what God wanted me to do." Mast, who is Wanda's adopted mother, said that this guy is definitely one of a kind. And also, now, Matthew Alder, the one that was convicted, is lodged in King Cross Correctional Facility in the Upper Peninsula, and I believe that's where Jeffrey Gorton is also, because it's maximum security. He's expected to be arraigned via video this is from 2013 when he was arraigned. They also have suspected him in 2 other slayings in North Carolina. So I'm going to have to look that up and see if there's been any updates on that, because that would be interesting to know. And I remember with the Jeffrey Gorton case too, that was right around that same time that, like I said, that bill was passed where inmates had to give DNA when they were, brought into the jail, and you put that into CODIS. It's so many unsolved cases are solved now. I mean, it's awesome. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's crime cast and also our pretty set of nails. If you have any requests or questions, please leave them in the comments for me. Now, everybody have a great holiday weekend, and remember to give yourself grace and to give other people chances as you've been given chances yourself, and just try to relax and enjoy life and be happy that every single day, even though it may not be perfect, we get to wake up, we get to breathe fresh air, we get to see and talk with friends and family, and that's something that some people don't get to do. And just remember how lucky we are. So, happy Easter, everybody, if you celebrate, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend with the people that you love. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die this ride, feeling alive. Nothing in sight, forever in flight. Follow those lines, we'll make it this time. Blurry street lights, work as a guide to memories that we're making tonight. Oh yeah, we'll make it tonight. Yeah, I'll do